Hi everybody, I am Haimantika Mitra and currently I am working as a developer advocate at AppWrite. And before that I used to work at Microsoft in the Outlook or Exchange team. But it's community, it's technology, it's everything that I am today, or speaking, teaching, all of these that makes me want to be a developer advocate from heart, and which is why I followed my passion. And like the saying goes कि engineering के बाद ही अपना passion follow किया जाता है. So it's glad that I'm still in the tech industry and my passion lies along with the tech industry or engineering. And below is my Twitter handle. So anything related, since most of you here are students, tech, community, career guidance, open source, or anything in general, if you have any questions at all, I am very active on social media, on LinkedIn as well, and on Twitter as well. So you can DM me anytime, and my DMs are always open. So today we'll be building a phone auth app, and these are the contents, or these are the things that we will be going through. The tech stack we'll be following is Svelte, that is used for the front end part. For the back end part, it's AppWrite, and since it's phone authentication, we will be using Twilio. So can I have a quick show of hands again? How many of you are experienced with Svelte or have even heard about Svelte? Svelte.js. Yes, you have heard. So I see few people. That's good. We all learn new things every day. So maybe this is the time that you learn. And how many of you have heard about AppWrite? Nice to see few show of hands greater than Svelte. I feel proud. Okay, and Twilio? Great. So I know in 25 minutes things might get overboard. So what I'll suggest is, this is something that helped me. Just take notes of the term I'm talking about, and Google has everything. So just go back home and maybe that's how you learn, or you can always reach out to me as well. So the contents are, first we'll talk about what is phone authentication. I know most of you have a brief idea, so just an introduction to it. Then introduction to AppWrite, what AppWrite is, what it does, and how we'll be using. I was on the second point, that I'll be introducing you to AppWrite and how we are using it for the backend. Next, we'll be also briefing you about Twilio. Since most of you are students, you can use these platforms for your final year projects or for your hackathons, because these are mostly low-code tools and it's a very fun to work with. So just friendly tips out there. And next we'll see a demo, and lastly some resources so that you can go back home and do your thing. Getting started. So what is phone authentication? Any of you who are starting with web development, full stack, front end, back end, anything? Okay, some of you are here. Or I think most of you have used an app, any app. So what you do is, when you'll see that there are many authentication options, or there are many options to log in. Moving to my next slide, here's a definition, but I'll be trying to explain it in as simple words as possible. So when you're logging in, you'll see that you can log in with an email, password, magic link, then with your Google, with a Twitter account, and all of those. You also have an option which is also now called the two-factor authentication, that you have to give your phone number, you'll get some code or an OTP. So this can be the two-factor authorization, or this can be the only way to log in. That for me, especially in Amazon, it happens that I forget my password. So what I do is I just enter my phone number, it gives me an OTP, and I log in. So that is called the phone authentication part. Many developers, what they do is, for their application, they try to integrate this because it's easy. You don't need to remember password. There is no data breach in terms of password. So phone authentication is the way to go. And just to go by the definition, is the verification of the user's entity through your mobile phone. So basically, you put in your mobile number and you get a code. If that code is verified, you can log into your application. As simple as that. Moving forward, what is AppWrite? So again, a show of hands. How many of you are building with backend or backend developers, or learning backend? Nice. And how many of you are front-end developers? Okay, so this is for all the front-end developers out here. If you find backend a bit difficult, or if you find that it's more complicated, that is where AppWrite comes to play because it's an open source backend server. A little plug, now Hacktoberfest is going on. So it's a month where you participate in open source, you contribute to PRs. So AppRed being an open source project, you can also go ahead and contribute to different issues. We have over 300 plus issues, and there are some fun ones as well, like low code, no code, and coded issues as well. So that's a brief about AppRed, and I'll be explaining it more in the next few slides. Okay, so I talked about backend. Now the front end is the nice looking part, right? Like you see there's a nice UI UX, there is a button, and it's the backend that does the bad stuff, because while the buttons look nice, you need to click on it and it needs to do something. So when it needs to do something, you need to write a lot of code. There is, technologies are coming up every day. So what AppRed does for you is it simplifies the backend for you. And we have SDKs, we have APIs, we have both client and server side SDKs. Basically what it does is just you need to, have an AppRed project. You build the front end, and you need to, once you're making the AppRed project, you'll have some credentials, you'll have SDKs on a documentation. You can just integrate or tie or bind both of them together, and your full stack application will be ready, which is why I mentioned that these tools are very handy for your hackathons or, projects where you need to build or deliver something quickly. So like any backend service, we provide all the tools that is necessary for your backend. There's authentication. I talked about authentication briefly. If you need to log in with your email, password, or social media, or phone authentication, which I will be building right now, AppRed can do it for you. Then database. I think data is very crucial for anything these days, be it for data analysis, for data science, for web development, for anything at all. And then there is storage as well. There are cloud functions, there are webhooks. It's also highly secure because it's first is open source, second is it can be self-hosted, so whatever you're handling is on you, and nobody is taking your data. Anything that happens is on you or on the cloud that you're hosting AppRed on. Then you can also do some geolocation and localization, some image manipulation, and also some real-time stuff. So that, in short, is about AppRed. And if you want to know more about it, I'll share you the resources towards the end of the session. Now, what is Twilio? Anybody who wants to talk or give a brief about Twilio? I know the definition is right there, but have anybody used Twilio before? Just one or two hands. Great. So Twilio, basically, it's a platform. All these products need to have some business. So the business is to companies that are using engagement in the form of SMS, then there is text, chat, video, and all email, and all of them, they do it through APIs. So I'm sure that most of you or few of you have heard about SendGrid, the one that is used to send emails. So behind all of those, you can use Twilio. So basically, Twilio is a product that is made for organizations to help them. It's a one-in-all platform where you can do all the text, phone, code, voice, all of those stuffs, and it's making a job easier for an organization. But as a developer, how can you use it? So they have generous free tier plans. You just need to log in. They'll give you some dollars in your account. And as students specifically, I know it's not easy or for us to purchase a plan. So with the trial version, even the demo I'll be showing you has a trial version. What you can do is you can build a project, and if it needs to send an SMS or a text, you can do that easily with Twilio. And I'll show you how to log it. And it's basically a few clicks, and the documentation is very well written. So if you just follow the documentation, there are code snippets that you can basically copy and paste, add the Twilio credentials, and get all of these services running. And me personally, I have used the text calling features a lot in my college projects. So this is something that you can try out if, like I mentioned, these are great tools for your hackathon or for your final year projects. Moving forward, now we come to the demo part. So here's a quick flowchart of what all we are using. First is the application, and it has two parts, right? There's a front end, there's a back end. The front end is built with Svelte. The back end is built with AppWrite. And to bring all of this together, we have AppWrite SDKs. And using this SDKs, we will be connecting to Twilio and we will be connecting to Svelte as well. And this is generally the process that, so it has some learning curve for you. I see most of you are clicking pictures, so do that. So what we'll do is first install AppWrite. Now comes the part where I'll be switching many tabs. So first, okay, this is the AppWrite website and it's as simple as appwrite.io. Yes, it's visible, great. So all that you need to do is appwrite.io, you'll see there is get started and there is this command that you have. You click to copy and you can paste it on your terminal. In a Mac OS system, terminal does most of the job. So terminal for Mac OS, CMD if you're using Windows, and for Linux as well, the terminal does the job. But there is one requirement to it. You need to have Docker, because all the containers, if I spin up my Docker engine, you'll see that there are a lot of containers, approximately 20 containers where all the AppWrite services are running. But if you're somebody who is new to Docker and you feel that there is a lot of setup steps for you, you can also go down and you'll see that there are some one-click installing processes in AppWrite, or you can just quickly search AppWrite, one-click setup installations. Yeah, so you go to the installation doc and if you scroll down, you'll see that there are options to install with Docker, or there are one-click setups with DigitalOcean and Gitpod as well. So people who are participating in Hacktoberfest right now is the brainchild of DigitalOcean, and soon after the completion of Hacktoberfest, you'll also be receiving credits on DigitalOcean. So you can spin that up if you are wanting to create a VM or wanting to try out AppWrite, you can do that with DigitalOcean. So now that the setup part is done, I am not running the command because it's already installed for me. It will be running on your local host. So if you simply go to your browser and type localhost/signup, you will be coming up to the AppWrite sign up page, and you need to just put in your credentials and it will sign you in. So after signing you in, this is how the console will look. For you, there will be no projects, but since I work at AppWrite, there are projects that I have. Okay, so I'll just show you it. Creating a project is no-brainer. There are just few clicks. You just need to click on create project and maybe write something like test demo. Test and demo are my favorite words. Like my favorite variable name is I. And if you go down, or if you, after you're creating a project, so the project is created, right? That was as easy as clicking on create a project, naming it, and it's there for you. And here on the left hand side, you see all the services that we provide. So there is database, there are storage, users, functions, webhooks, and some API keys that you can connect your application to. So all of these are very easy to follow because they're mostly click-clack. But if you still are stuck, you can go to AppWrite docs. So it's here. It's appwrite.io/docs, and everything is there for you. So if you're a beginner, don't get confused, because if you follow the documentation, and as developers, I think it's a good practice to read documentation first and then get your hands dirty with any technology. So yeah, that was about setting up AppWrite and setting up a project. If you go to the settings part, you'll see that we have a project ID and an API endpoint. These are very crucial for you to connect your AppWrite project, because this is what will be basically connecting you to the backend part. And similarly, if you're building a database, you'll have some database ID. If you're having a collection, you'll have a collection ID. So all of those tokens or the numbers or the formation of strings is what is important to you. Enough of AppWrite. Moving forward to Twilio. So you just need to try, just search on the internet twilio.com, and there will be a login option. You just need to log in with your account. It also has options for two-factor authorization. Depends on you if you want to share your number or not. So I have already done that stuff. I have logged in, and this is how the console will look. So for anybody who is doing it for the first time, I'll quickly reference you to the dev.to article that we have, and this is how it will look for you. So as soon as you log in, you'll see that there is an option for you to get a Twilio phone number. So once you do that, I'll come back to my console. You'll see that I have a Twilio phone number. Now we come back to a bit of difficult part. So you have AppWrite installed already, and you see that it's running in your Docker. So once you have installed AppWrite, it will be there on a folder. And like any good coder, you need to open up your favorite IDE. For me is VS Code. There is a folder called AppWrite, and we come here and we see that there is a .env file. So we need to make a bit of changes to our .env file, and I'll be referencing to the document a lot, because as a good citizen of the developer community, it's my duty to go through blogs and documentation. And you'll see that in the .env file there are two parameters that we need to change. So it's the app _phone _provider, and this is basically this is what you need to fill it in with. And here in account SID and auth token, the tokens will be available from your console. And another parameter that you need to change is app phone from. So once you do that, you need to do all of it in your .env file. I already have it here, which is why I'm not doing that step. And once that is done, what you need to do is you need to close all the Docker engines. It's as simple as Docker down, or you can also use an easy command. And for that, just a second. So there's another command that you can use instead of using two single commands of shutting down the engines and starting it up. So it's docker compose up -d -4 or -4 recreate. So this is something that even I don't remember, and you can always reference back to the docs for that. This is all about the AppWrite setting up part. I'll close that in, and once you have put those credentials or the tokens I talked about, like the app phone provider, where you need to put in your Twilio account SID or auth token and your phone number, and you have shut down AppWrite Docker engines and you have turned them up as well, that AppWrite setup is done. The next part that you need to do is you need to come here to the repository that I'll be sharing the link as well. So this has the demo for you. You can simply fork it, download the code, git clone it, and it will have all the necessary setup for you, like the front end part is built for you. So this is for a quick demo, and I'll just show you what the demo does. So for that, I'll be opening up my AppWrite auth demo folder, and here again you see that there is a .env file, and there are two parameters that you need to fill in. I'll zoom my screen. Yeah. So the first one is the AppWrite endpoint, and the second one is the AppWrite project ID. So to get that, I showed that a few minutes ago. You need to go back to your AppWrite console, and here if you go to settings, you'll see that your project ID and your API endpoint is there. You need to just fill that on your .env file, and after you save it, you're ready to go. What I'll quickly do is I'll just turn it off and start again, because my demo was already running. Yeah, so I mentioned that in the .env file is where you put in your AppWrite credentials. And this is the part where I simply run the demo and show you how it works. Just one command, npm run dev. But if you're doing it for the first time, you need to install the dependencies, and you need to have things ready for you. So yeah, you click on that and you see that it's there on localhost. I simply follow the link. You can ignore the thing that came up. So there's an option. You can simply log in with your email and password, or you can log in with your phone. And this is where you need to give the phone number that you registered your Twilio trial account with. Since mine is a trial account, so only sending SMS to my registered number is what will work. But if you have a paid account, you can send SMS to any number. So I will quickly do that, and I'll write on get a code, and I'm waiting for the code. This is what I'm scared of, but let me quickly see and make sure that all the services are working. Looks like it. I'll do it one more time, and I'll just send another code to myself, and I'll see if it's working or not. Yeah, so I know that you cannot see on the screen, but I received a code from Twilio on my mobile number, and I'll just put in the code here. So the code, as it says, is 5441-023, and I'll click on verify, and you see that my phone number is verified. If you want to update your phone number, you can do that. You can add a name, email, and that's basically it. That's how your phone authentication works. And now I'll log out. And what I'll do, there's also a time crunch, so I'll not be explaining you the code, but one extra step that I'll be doing is I'll go to my VS Code, and if you go to the src file, under that there is lib. It's your apprite.ts, I mean the TypeScript file that has most of the code, which is binding the front end and the back end and the Twilio part. If you scroll down, you'll see that first what we are doing is we are connecting to Apprite, and if you remember these terms, these are the ones that we used in our env file. So we are referencing to that, and what it is doing right now is it is connecting your application to Apprite. If you scroll down, you'll see that there are some functions like it's getting an account or it's creating an account for you. If you're logging in through email, it's creating an email session for you. Then if you want to delete that session, you have that option as well. So basically the CRUD operations that we do with an API: create, retrieve, update, and delete. And since it's a phone authentication app, so you have CRUD operations for your phone session as well, basically creating it, updating it, creating a phone verification, the verification that I got on my phone, that as soon as you click on get code, you get an code and it verifies for you. So while all of these might feel difficult for you, you can reference back to the documentation, my favorite part, and you'll see on the left hand side there is REST API, and you have documentation for your account, users, team, databases, storages, basically every backend functionalities that you need to do, and it's available there. While I know that my things might have gone overboard, so here are some resources that you can follow. My favorite, Apprite docs, and this is the repository. I'll zoom it a bit. So the second one is the repository that you can fork, clone, and try the demo. Or if you are finding my username difficult to follow, I see all of you clicking pictures, that's nice. You can simply try or search Apprite or demo, and it will work for you. And the third one is a 30 days of Apprite challenge. So in 30 days, if you're reading one blog, so you'll be getting to know all the services, and at the end of 30 days, you will be having built you'll be having built a demo that is almost Netflix. So this is the learning step that I generally follow, and I would suggest you to follow for any technology in general. And yeah, that's all. Thank you for being such patient listeners. I hope you got something out of it. So these are some of the websites, Discord channel to follow. And yeah, thank you so much.